Welcome to ZoomInData. In this video, we cover Power Apps interview questions, data validation, quality and integrity, explained in a very clear, simple, and interview-oriented manner. Data validation is one of the most critical yet underestimated concepts in Power Apps. Many apps fail in real projects not because of UI issues, but because of poor data quality, weak validation logic, and lack of integrity controls. This video is designed to help you understand why validation is essential in real-time Power Apps projects. Avoid common mistakes that lead to data inconsistency and app failures. Answer interview questions with confidence, using real-world thinking. Design reliable, maintainable, and enterprise-ready Power Apps. This content is suitable for beginners learning Power Apps, professionals preparing for Power Apps interviews, developers working on real-time Power Apps projects. Let's get started. 1. Why is data validation critical in Power Apps? Data validation ensures that only correct, complete, and meaningful data enters the system, which is the foundation of any reliable application. Without validation, incorrect data spreads across reports, approvals, and integrations, causing business errors. Validation protects downstream systems such as Power Automate flows, Power BI reports, and external integrations. In enterprise apps, validation is essential to maintain trust in data and decision-making. 2. What risks arise when validation is handled only at UI level? UI-level validation can be bypassed through logic errors or future changes. Data may still be inserted through other apps, flows, or integrations without validation. Security and consistency are weakened because rules are not enforced centrally. Long-term maintenance becomes risky as validation logic is scattered. 3. How does poor data quality affect downstream systems? Incorrect data causes wrong approvals, reports, and notifications. Automated workflows may fail or behave unexpectedly. Power BI reports become unreliable and misleading. Business decisions based on poor data lead to financial and operational risks. 4. How do validation rules improve reliability? Validation rules prevent incomplete or incorrect records from being saved. They enforce business rules consistently across all users. Errors are caught early, reducing correction effort later. Overall system reliability improves significantly. 5. What challenges arise when validation logic becomes complex? Complex validation becomes hard to understand and maintain. Debugging issues takes longer due to multiple conditions. Performance may degrade if validation runs repeatedly. Small changes can accidentally break existing rules. 6. How does validation impact user experience? Clear validation messages guide users and reduce frustration. Poorly designed validation confuses users and slows data entry. Immediate feedback improves confidence while using the app. Balanced validation improves adoption and satisfaction. 7. What happens when required fields are bypassed? Incomplete records enter the system. Downstream processes fail due to missing information. Manual corrections increase workload. Data integrity is permanently compromised. 8. How does data integrity differ between SharePoint and Dataverse? SharePoint relies more on app-level validation. Dataverse enforces integrity through relationships, rules, and constraints. Dataverse provides stronger protection against invalid data. Enterprise apps benefit more from Dataverse integrity controls. 9. What mistakes lead to inconsistent data entry? using free text fields instead of controlled inputs, inconsistent validation rules across screens, missing required field enforcement, poor field naming and unclear instructions. 10. How do drop-downs and lookups improve data quality? They prevent spelling and formatting errors. Users select from predefined valid values. Reporting and filtering become accurate. Data remains consistent across apps. 11. What role does validation play in compliance? Compliance requires accurate and complete data. Validation ensures mandatory regulatory fields are captured. Audit failures reduce when data is validated correctly. Sensitive industries depend heavily on validation. 12. How does validation affect performance? Excessive validation logic can slow screen interactions. Poorly optimized rules run multiple times unnecessarily. Well-designed validation balances performance and control. Centralized rules reduce repetition. 13. What challenges exist in validating cross-field dependencies? Multiple fields must be checked together logically. Error messages become harder to explain. Order of validation matters. Maintenance becomes complex over time. 14. How does validation differ for mobile users? Mobile users need simpler, faster validation feedback. Network delays affect validation behavior. Smaller screens require clear error messages. Over-validation frustrates mobile users quickly. 15. What risks arise from inconsistent validation rules? Different users follow different rules unknowingly. Data becomes unreliable and fragmented. Support effort increases. User trust decreases. 16. How does validation logic impact maintenance? Centralized validation is easier to update. Scattered logic increases technical debt. New developers struggle to understand rules. Maintenance cost grows over time. How does centralized validation logic improve consistency across Power Apps? Answer: centralized validation logic ensures that the same validation rules are applied everywhere, instead of being rewritten on each screen or form. This avoids situations where one screen allows invalid data while another blocks it. When validation is handled centrally, for example, at the data source or shared component level, maintenance becomes much easier, because changes are made once and automatically reflected across all apps or screens. Centralized validation also reduces human error, since developers don't need to remember to replicate rules manually in multiple places. From an enterprise perspective, centralized validation improves data quality, reliability, and audit readiness, because rules are consistent and predictable. 18. How do validation errors affect user trust? Frequent or unclear errors frustrate users. Users may avoid the app or enter dummy data. Trust in system accuracy reduces. Adoption drops significantly. 19. What challenges exist in multi-step validation? Validation must persist across screens. Errors may appear too late. Managing state becomes difficult. User flow can break easily. 20. How does validation interact with data source rules? Data source rules act as final protection. App validation improves user guidance. Both must work together for integrity. Relying on only one is risky. 21. What risks exist when validation is duplicated across screens? Logic inconsistency increases. Updates must be done multiple times. Bugs are introduced easily. Maintenance becomes expensive. 22. How does validation support audit requirements? Ensures required fields are always populated. Reduces audit exceptions. Improves traceability. Supports regulatory compliance. 23. What happens when validation logic is removed accidentally? Invalid data enters silently. Issues appear much later. Root cause analysis becomes difficult. Business impact increases. 24. How do enterprises standardize validation logic? Use centralized rules and data models. Apply validation at data source level. Enforce governance standards. Regular reviews and testing. 25. Why is validation a shared responsibility between app and data source? App-level validation improves usability. Data-level validation ensures integrity. Both together provide strong protection. Enterprise apps require layered validation. Thank you for watching this video on ZoomInData. If you want real-time Power Apps projects, contact ZoomInData. And if you want more questions on real-time projects, contact ZoomInData. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Power Apps interview questions and real-world learning.